Russia voted yesterday. Well, not really. You can hardly call that a vote, but let's call it this way. This is how they call in this farce in Russia. At this point, information is being released that 100% of ballots have been counted for, and Vladimir Putin is winning with 87.28% of the votes. Dmitry Peskov was off target last August when he predicted that, informed us that Vladimir Putin already won with over 90%. So he was off, but 87% it is. In reality, this farce was predictable. We all saw it coming. The real question is, what is next for Russia? I know the answer, and I will tell you about it right now. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin, and welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. No propaganda, BS, or lies here, only truth, common sense, and logic, and some emotions too, because I am a human being after all. Okay, let's jump to the questions and answers. On the election 2024 is over, and Putin is the new old president of Russia. He became the president when he was still young. The year was 2000, now it's 2024, he's still the president. Well, have you heard of Russian sugarcoating? If you watch this channel, the chances are you have. I've talked about it quite a bit. The sugarcoating is, first, why is it important? Please let me explain the concept, and you will understand why sugarcoating is important. Imagine there's a house that has structural problems. Those of you who are in construction understand me perfectly well. It happens. House is all old, or perhaps it was the foundation is, the steel frame is rusted. If it's a wooden frame, perhaps termites have eaten wood and things like that, Perhaps a mistake was made while a house was designed. So anyway, its foundation and framing fallen apart. The house is leaning towards one side, and more cracks, wall cracks, started appearing. Cracking sounds are heard now and then. Facade is pieces of siding are falling off its facade. It is clear that the house will fall apart. It's just a matter of time. Then a few workers show up and start covering up cracks as they appear, put new pieces of siding in the places of old siding that fell apart and fell off. And they start putting a coat of fresh paint over the facade. This is exactly what has been going on with Russia. Russian government was sugarcoating everything to keep appearance that everything in the country was more or less normal. Why? Very simple, because the president elections was coming, and people, they had to be calm and relaxed under impression that everything is more or less normal. And they had to be calm and relaxed all the way through the election, because angry people are much less controllable and tend to vote unpredictably. So sugarcoating method was applied, and it worked out quite well. There's one problem with sugarcoating though. You can do it only for so long. If the foundation of your house is letting go, you can paint the facade and patch up growing wall cracks all you want, but your house will fall apart sooner or later. You simply cannot sugarcoat for long. Guess when sugarcoating in Russia stopped? Yesterday, March 17th. at 8 p.m. sharp, when the doors of all voting stations closed. Sugarcoating isn't simply needed any longer. From now on, different methods will be used. I've been studying Russian growing problems for the past 24 months, and I saw that they were sugar-coated. And I know what will happen in Russia next. And this is what I want to tell you. I want you to mark my words down, so in the future months, you and me, we all will analyze my words, and we will see whether I was right or not today on this live stream. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into the main things, so to speak. What the hell will happen in Russia in the coming months? I will talk of 4 things: economy, ideology, society, and government. And I think the major changes will happen in these areas of life. And the very, very, very first thing I'd like to talk about is Russian economy, as economy is the foundation of everything, as we know. Now, the very first thing that will be done is they will start devaluing Russian ruble. It'll be somewhat slow at first, but increasing over time. In my humble opinion, Russian ruble will be trading for around 100 rubles for $1 somewhere around May. And closer to the end of summer, it'll be 120. Perhaps even, 130. Towards the end of the year, it'll be trading in the range of 130 to 140 Russian rubles for $1. Perhaps even more, perhaps even higher, perhaps the ruble will be even more devalued, but I wouldn't go that far. That's just too early to say. The reason I am sure they're going to do that, well, there are 2 reasons. Right now, ruble de facto has existed to be fiat currency, easily freely traded currency. Right now, it's controlled by Russian central bank, and Russian central bank was given all the necessary tools to keep the exchange rate under control. The last tool, and it was kind of a nuclear bomb tool, was given at the end of last year. Now, Russian central bank can shut down any trader who Russian central bank thinks is playing against Russian central bank. So it has become the policeman, the court, and the executioner of players in the currency market in Russia. So there is no more free market for ruble. And the second reason I'm pretty sure of that is that Russian budget. There's only so much oil and gas and raw materials are exported now, and the deficit of the Russian budget is needed to be covered. And this is the only way to cover it. Well, this is one of 2 ways. So anyway, as a matter of fact, this isn't just my forecast, it's already started. They started devaluing Russian ruble even before the president election was over. So last Thursday, the 13th, before they started devaluing, it was 90 Russian rubles for dollar, 90.88 to be exact. On Friday, it was 91.63, and today 91.98. We have started seeing the increase. So this is a most obvious change that is coming to Russia, devaluing ruble. Another thing I forecast will happen soon, perhaps within 2 weeks or so, perhaps even this week. The taxes will be increased. And that is the second way how they can fill the Russian budget with rubles. Mark my words, the income tax will be increased by 2% to the total of 15% for poor people. And those who are making, everyone who's making under $700 are considered poor people in Russia. For them, the taxes will be increased just by 2%, a little bit. But for those who make over $700 per month, equivalent in Russian rubles, of course, the taxes, personal income taxes, will be increased by 7% to total of 20%. And that pretty much most of Russians, okay? So can you imagine almost double? Mark my words again. That's personal income tax. Corporate income taxes will also be significantly increased, albeit I don't know by how much exactly. And there's a possibility, just a possibility, is I don't know for sure, that added value tax in Russia, that's a part of all goods and services sold in Russia, manufactured and sold. So the added value tax will be increased by at least 2%, perhaps by as much as 5%. But that's just speculation. Next, inflation. Inflation will start growing, and toward the end of the year, inflation will start galloping. Galloping inflation, I'll remind you, that's when it's in double digits. Increasing inflation will result in prices for absolutely everything to go up. In the first weeks from now, the process will be fairly slow, but soon we might see the prices of few products jump very fast, okay? I'm pretty sure that this issue of rising prices will be monitored and broadcasted by everyone out there. Next, one of such products, there's a possibility of some products jumping high very soon, in a matter of days, okay, and very, very quickly. One of such products will be gasoline and diesel fuel. The prices will increase significantly and fast, and shortages of fuel cannot be ruled out. There are different reasons for that, and one of the major reasons, I'm going to make a stream about that in the future. Please keep on tuning in. Next, Russian commercial banks will enter a period of turbulence. We will see a spike in personal and business loan defaults and a spike in both personal and corporate bankruptcies. At first, we will not see much changing in the next few weeks, but I think towards May, perhaps end of May, we will start seeing news coming from the commercial banking industry of Russia. And I also predict that Russian central bank will start taking licenses of commercial banks away. Sugarcoating is over. Putin is the new old president. Now, anything is possible. So again, mark my words, we will see first sanctions against Russian commercial banks taken by the central bank. They'll simply be shutting the commercial banks down and beefing up the state-owned bank Sber. Next, troubles are looming over the real estate market, but the bubble will not be burst until later, until the end of this year, perhaps even in the next year. So I'm not expecting real changes happening fast, changes happening soon, but the bubble is getting thinner. The bubbles, whatchamacallit, sides. Anyway, bubble sides are getting thinner. A new phenomenon, reprivatization, has started already. We have seen that happen, but that's just a little tiny phenomenon. It'll grow. My forecast is that reprivatization will be a new trend. Basically, what reprivatization is just a facade for stealing profitable businesses by the ones who have power to use violence against people, the siloviki. Just to give you a situation, all right, the USSR collapses in 1991, and then there was a process of privatization of all assets. Basically, factories, businesses, enterprises, everything, people started owning them. People were given an opportunity to buy all old Soviet enterprises out. And most of them were, sold to people, and the money was acquired by Russian budget. It was done in the early 90s. Large enterprises, just such as metallurgical plants, oil companies, and so forth, were privatized in mid-90s. Now, was privatization clean? That is a big question. But you know what? It happened a long time ago. And it happened a long time ago. And what Russian government is doing right now is saying, hey, back in 1993, that metallurgical plant was privatized illegally because person who signed off did not have a right to do so. So therefore, that metallurgical plant needs to be returned to the government. Imagine how complicated this process is. Those who privatized that metallurgical plant back in 93 sold it. New owners sold it. The new owners sold it. And, there's so many people, the owners changed. And now the government is simply taking that metallurgical plant is back. That's a real case, okay? That's what's going on right now. And there's a strong feeling in the society that this reprivatization will be used as a tool to steal profitable assets, to steal the businesses who actually make money. And siloviki, of course, they will be seizing control over businesses. Right now, there are about 10 active cases of reprivatization when government simply is stealing good businesses from rightful owners. My forecast is that there will be hundreds and hundreds of cases of reprivatization. Mark my words, please. And this is it about the economy. Many more things will be happening, but I am outlining just the major stuff today, okay? And these major changes, they will be leading the way for many more smaller changes, okay? But this is major. This is the most important stuff. Now let's move to ideology. See, ideology was, to have an ideology was prohibited by Russian constitution. It was a long time ago the constitution was written. Well, now ideology is born, again, just like it was in the USSR, and the birth process was very painful. They started thinking of the new ideology when they invaded Ukraine, and, this taking of Kyiv turned out to be fiasco. They needed to come up with some kind of excuse why they did it, and they couldn't do anything. For months and months and months, there were rumors that people are working, but there was simply no result. And finally, the birth happened. You see, Russian state was pregnant with new ideology for 24 months, and the birth happened. Ideology is born. Made it up. They made it up. Now, I'm going to put it in my words, but don't mark my words, but mark the idea, okay? Because they can put it in different words. The idea, I think, will be the same. Russia is the shining fortress that is besieged by the enemies who are unjust and unright. The Satanists, the Anglo-Saxons, and their servants, the insignificants, who want to destroy Russia and wipe Russians with their values, culture, and language off the face of the planet. And whoever joins those Satanists as servants will become also the enemies of Russia. But Russia is self-sufficient civilization. And then remember this idea. Russia is the self-sufficient civilization. It does not need the world to be successful, to live, to develop, to grow. And Russia will fight till the end to save itself, even if the cost of such a fight is global nuclear war. The next, Russia will denounce and break most international treaties that have been signed for the past 34 years. Next, everything that the ruling elite will dislike in terms of controlling the mind and behavior of population will be declared enemy values. Those who have enemy values will be prosecuted. And it doesn't matter who. The Russians inside Russia, the Russians who have left and live outside Russia, does not matter. Those who have enemy values, share enemy values, spread enemy values, will be prosecuted. Whew. Before I jump to the society, as usual, I'd like to ask you to help the channel. 1, please like this, hit the like button. 2, please subscribe if you haven't done so. 3, please share this message in your social media accounts, as it is important. I find it important. And of course, please comment. Ask me a question. Please write if you agree or disagree with me. And if you have nothing to write, just drop me a couple lines of encouragement and something pleasant. I would love to read that. I don't answer all the comments, there are too many, but I read through most of them. So please, write something nice, encouraging. That helps me a lot. And of course, you can buy me a cup of tea or coffee. I love tea. This is English breakfast. I'm going to put links down below. Buymeacoffee.com or Patreon. Thank you so very much. Not required, but much appreciated. So now let's talk about society. The third area of life that will see major changes is society, and probably the bloodiest changes. You see, the new enemy will be found, just like I said. Those who share and value and have enemy values. And that enemy will be the liberals. Those who have supported Navalny at some point of time, way in the past, recently, it doesn't matter. But Navalny will clearly be labeled as the enemy of Russia and the leader of the liberals. His ideas will be announced extremists and not good for Russians. There will be a fight declared against those values and those people. The liberals will be proclaimed the reason behind all Russia's problems. Ineffective economy, the sanctions, sabotages, etc. Even at the failures at the front lines. It will be liberals' fault. There will be mass arrests and public trials. Before I jump to that, the liberals in Russia, they're not liberals in the classic understanding of this word. The liberals in Russia are those who want changes, who want democracy, who want freedom for all, who want freedom for speech, who want liberty, and so forth. That is liberals. Those who are not liberals support the president, support absolute power, support the stability, support the security, and support giving up rights, individual rights, to make the government stronger. Everyone else who does not share those values will be considered liberals. Next, there will be mass arrests and public trials of the liberals. The liberals will be identified in tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands, enough to blame this blame process to last until the end of the year of 2024, perhaps even longer. After they run out of all liberals, arrest, charge, sentence, throw to prisons, and so forth, when they run out of liberals, people to go after, then the new enemy will be created. At this point, it is not clear who that enemy will be. Next, a new trend for the mobilization of the society will emerge. I would say mobilization and militarization of the society will emerge. It will involve all people, from early age, from kindergarten to the elderly. There will be new slogans, and we will see them by the summertime, such as "all to the front," "all to the victory," and things like that. The Siloviki will be increasingly given more power. They will be using much more violence that they had before. Next, more private armies will be created, and the existing private armies will be gaining in size and strength. Next, crime levels of all kinds will increase significantly. People will be coming back from the front lines. They have been coming back, but the more will be coming back, and that will contribute to increase in crime. Povertization of people also will contribute to the increase in crime levels. A new wave of mobilization will emerge. Only this time it'll be a covert mobilization. It'll start April 1st, and this particular change will be hard to track because the government for the past 2 years have been making changes in legislation, in the procedures, to make the process of mobilizing people, identifying and grabbing them much easier. And they have succeeded. They have created an excellent system that is allowing to grab Russians and send them to the front lines, or actually to do anything they want with them. I'll give you an analogy. Imagine this. You are a driver in a driver's seat of a car. And instead of, if you want to go faster, all you have to do is shift gear and press the gas pedal, acceleration pedal, and your car will go faster. And you can control the speed by applying force to your acceleration pedal. You don't have to stick your head out of, the window and screaming so everyone hears, "Oh, I need to go faster. I need to go faster now." You don't have to do that. You are silent. You just press the pedal and you fly. And then before Russian government, that's what it did. It was screaming around. Putin came out and publicly announced, "We're mobilizing everyone." Now they don't have to do that. They just have to press the pedal. Now they're in driver's seat. And the next area, the last but not least, is government. We will see a very big shakeup in the government, the biggest one in 6 years. Number one, Prime Minister and all his ministers will be fired, relieved of his duties, and sent to other government positions. None of them will be thrown out to the street, out of the door, because that's not how it's done in Russia. They will be fired and given new positions. New prime minister will be appointed. It is too hard to say at this point who will be the next prime minister. In my opinion, the decision has not been made yet. There are a few candidates, and the decision will be made at the very last minute. Next, number two. That's number three. Russia's great Cardinal Kirienko will be promoted. He will be rewarded for the excellent job that he has done with the election 2024. His influence in the Russian government has increased. And number four, Putin's friends and their power groups will start fighting. The pie is getting smaller. There are less and less money in Russia. Therefore, the fight for the money, for the influence, for the power, will start intensifying. It is hard to say right now what the process, what the fighting will be, who will be fighting who, and what the results will be. But mark my words, there will be fighting. There will be spiders trying to eat each other, devour each other. And of course, the jar is the Russian government and the Russian elites. Again, please mark my words. Soon, very soon, we will see if I'm right. I expect that Russian ruble, we will be seeing the changes in devaluing Russian ruble very soon. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and every single day after that. And the next thing we will see is price changes, spikes. And the third thing, almost instant, is the increase in price of gasoline and diesel fuel. And this is what's coming for Russia. And now I'm taking my popcorn right here, and I am ready to answer your questions. Before I turn the live stream chat on, I'd like to remind you that now, for the past few days, and I'm going to do that for a long time now, every single day, 9 news that I find very important, very significant, and you will not find them anywhere in your media or in Russian media. I publish these 9 news at Patreon for patrons and on YouTube for YouTube sponsors to see. So if you would like to follow this news, and I myself find them very important and significant, please become a patron or sponsor of the channel. Thank you so very much. Thank you for giving me a chance to deliver my message today, and I'd like to turn the live stream chat on. Just give me a second here. Fantastic to see so many people. I'm ready to answer questions. I love doing that. That is the best part of any stream that I have. Turning the live stream chat on. What do you think, folks? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I off target? Spot on? Do you have any questions? Please, I am ready to answer. Live stream chat is on. Let me just... Every time I make sure it appears in a large separate box, it's much easier for me to see, and I make font size a little bigger so I can read it easier. Thank you. In case you're here for the first time, I'd like to tell you that inside Russia, our community has the best moderation team in the world. Lorna, Mami K, Dirk, Bob S, Harry Potnin, and Amir Fazad. You are fantastic. You prove it time after time. And Lorna, you were stellar last stream, right at the very end of the stream. Thank you so much. Usual suspects, fantastic to see you. And in the last couple streams, I started noting new faces, new names. That's fantastic to see you. Thank you for joining. I hope you like it and you stay here. If you want me to see your message, question, comment easier, please put it in all caps and type Inside Russia after @ so it appears highlighted in a large orange box. Thank you so much. Makes it much easier for me to do. Kyle E, howdy. I hope your wife is doing better. Ferrari guy, long time no see. Frank in Texas. The pillar of Inside Russia, Jesteri, also the pillar. Brother Randall, Karen Possum, Angela McNaw, Scott Nesbitt, Yuri, Death Punch, John, Jodes Rames, Aquatic Borealis, good questions from you. Pamela J, Roy Cousins, TJ, VJ John, Tim Vanderloo, good to see you, friend. Howdy, howdy. Leitmotiv for me. Susan Live, good to see you too. Sending love to Sweden. Kermo, Sam K the Legend, Steffi, and my stream jumped. So Airborne Snail, Petra Olson, Bert Corrigan, howdy Bert. Fantastic to see you, long time no see. Theodore, Keith from Hawaii, all the way from Hawaii, Leslie. And all Scott Nesbitt, Jeffrey S. I'm not sure if Jeffrey's here. Bob, let's jump straight to the questions. Mac, thank you so much for super chat. Fantastic. Hello, Konstantin. Do you think that Russia can grow enough gain to export as no? Can grow enough grain to export as it did before, despite the lack of fuel, mechanics, and field workers. I do not think it can grow as much as it grew before. Time will tell, but I guess it's going to be very easy to tell. We will see how Pasivnaya, planting the seeds, which is hugely important in Russia. It's about to start very soon in April. We will see how that goes. If there's enough diesel fuel, is enough seeds, and so when farmers are over planting wheat grain, then we will know how much they will harvest in September, in July, because the harvest starts July 1st. Sir Naye, thank you so much. Thank you for your great streams. My pleasure. Thank you. How do you think Russian population will react to the increase of prices? Not well. They will not like it. But guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna complain to each other in the kitchens. Oh, did you see those prices for buckwheat? Oh, unbelievable. What those guys in the Kremlin are thinking? Don't they know that the buckwheat is growing in price? And this is what they're gonna do. And that's it. Nothing else. And I know what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to pour some wonderful English breakfast tea and drink it. I love this stuff. The more I drink it, the more I like it. Twinings, extra strength, English breakfast. It's good stuff. So I'm jumping to the comments and questions that are highlighted in orange and in caps. VJ John, thank you. Leitmotiv for me. Sam K, howdy. Milan Kovac from Hungary. Jelai Fritz, howdy. Airborne Snail. Albuquerque, Bob, as usual, from Albuquerque. And let me just write something down. I'm not sure I can read the name right. N. Christian Constant. I believe you're off with how high they will raise the income tax. I imagine 2% for all, and later in the year of 6 months, another 1%. Not more than that, surely. Look, just like I said, mark my words down. I'll get back to this issue of raising taxes, and we'll see if I was right or wrong. If I'm wrong, hey, I make mistakes. I'm wrong. I'm not, I don't know everything. I use common sense and logic, and sometimes I make mistakes. And I'll be the first one to admit that I made a mistake. Sir Nair, thank you. Oh, I already saw that. Thank you. Get you FBR, thank you so much, from Switzerland. Thank you for the video and you sharing your opinion. Too much talking, too much thinking, my brain starts mercury rising, so to speak. Sorry about the mistakes here and there. Thank you for the video and you sharing your opinion. Why does Putin need sugarcoating if he was the only option to choose in the current system? People want. Who could try a coup? Fantastic question. Not so easy to answer, not so short to answer. Let me jump to other super chats. I'll get back to the question. Boris, thank you. Watched some shopping videos again and noticed the prices. A bottle of vodka is cheaper as a kilo of cucumbers or a pack of eggs. This is the Russia Putin is building. Yes, you're absolutely right. Guess why? If you buy a kilo of cukes and you eat them, you just become less hungry. But if you drink a bottle of vodka, then, that's a different effect. You kind of forget about things around you for some time. And if you keep on drinking, you don't start caring less and less of what's happening around you. You just care more and more about getting more vodka. And you're exactly right. This is how Russia is being built up these days. Okay, Anita, thank you so much. I so wish everything was different in both Russia and Ukraine. Me too. And it was different in the past. Thank you for keeping us informed. Thank you for the prayers. I'll make sure that I'll show up every single day. Now, back to the question about whether I think that why does Putin need sugarcoating if the only option to choose from current system? Now, he needs legitimacy. You see, he doesn't want to become officially a dictator. He doesn't want to break Russian rules, Russian constitution, Russian laws. He wants everything to be legal. That's the thing about Putin. He will change the laws. He will completely shake up legislation to fine-tune it to his wishes and to his actions. So it gives him legitimacy. Russian people voted. Okay. Did everything go according to the laws? Yes, there was Central Election Committee. There weren't any major problems reported. There weren't any voting scams reported. So therefore, the elections happened. Legal elections. And no one can say that Putin is not a legitimate president. He is. People have spoken, and he wants to be liked by people, supported by people. He wants to be loved by people, okay? And of course, he doesn't want to bear responsibility of being dictator, okay? He can, worst comes to worst, he cannot be arrested, he cannot be charged and prosecuted because he made a law that makes him immune from any prosecution for any actions that he did while being the president of Russia. Nice, huh? So this is exactly why they wanted to conduct the elections, to get certain results. And to conduct and to get results, they needed to sugarcoat, to make society, keep society calm, and to pretend that everything was fine. And this is the short answer to your question. I hope that I put it in a language that is, fairly simple to understand. Thank you. Be More with God. I love the name. Thank you so much. Sponsor for 17 months. I don't recall your name. I think this is the first time you're writing. Do you think that the Kremlin will now feel more empowered to consider going after more vocal individuals critical of government outside of Russia? No, I do not think that the Kremlin will now feel more empowered. The Kremlin is empowered 100%. It was empowered before, and it's empowered now in the same level. Okay, Putin has built the system called the vertical of power. He completely controls, and it's full of Sardukars. They can do anything he orders to do, okay? It was like that before the election. It'll be like that even worse after the election. What they're going to do now, if before they were keeping more civil, so to speak, now they're just going to go after these people, and they're going to be spilling blood like you're not going to believe. Well, spilling blood, I mean, they're going to be arresting them, labeling liberals or traitors or something else. The idea is the same. The names can be different, okay? And they're going to be starting doing actions because now they don't care. He's the president for 6 more years. He's legitimate. People have spoken. They have given him the right. People have empowered him with the right to change Russia, to go after the traitors, because traitors need to be destroyed. Traitors need to be eradicated, okay? They need to thrown to Gulag and work, I don't know, whatever. So you see, now he's legit. People have empowered. They've spoken. They spoke yesterday. They gave him 87.22%, 87.28% of Russians. Every 8 out of 10 Russians said, yes, we want Putin our president. Okay, now he can do anything he wants to. He has a right to do that according to Russian law. Plain and simple. Some things get me going more than others. Good question, by the way. Thank you so much. Your question was very deep for understanding Russia, how it works. Okay, so thank you. Be more with God. Thank you. General Ben Hodges thinks that Putin's career will end soon. Do you agree? And how much time do you think Putin has left? Jeff Shirk. Thank you so much. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. I agree with the General Ben Hodges. I have utmost respect for that guy. I had a gut feeling that Putin would not last until the end of 2023. I was wrong, and I guess I'm the first one to admit. When his career is over, I don't know. If it's real Putin, he's going to be hanging on to power for as long as he can, in any possible way. And at worst comes to worst, he will just forget about Constitution and will be using the Sardukars the way he likes. Okay, if it's not real Putin, then he will be put aside, and he would give way to others, to a successor. If that happens, then it means that old Putin is gone and there's someone else in place of him. Because the real Putin, who built the vertical of power, will never give power easily to anyone. So, I don't know. But my popcorn, I'm having it, and well, I guess I'm eating popcorn with English breakfast tea. At least popcorn is virtual. My virtual popcorn kind of goes well with tea. I'm sorry if it looked silly. Again, Jeff, thanks for the good question and support. William, Atheist number 1, good to see you. Have you been praying with us lately? with the election over, how long before Putin will declare full mobilization? Hey, this is what I said in the stream. I talked about it. I think that full mobilization will not be announced, although mobilization is needed. It's vital for Russia because imagine those who were mobilized, hundreds of thousands of people, and who are left alive, they've been sitting in the front lines, in the trenches for the past year and a half, and I think they're going crazy, or they're close to it. They need new soldiers to rotate. And where are they going to get the new soldiers? Of course, they're going to mobilize more Russians. But I think there will be no full mobilization, at least soon, anytime soon. I think that April 1st, they will start mobilizing more men. And we will see that. We will see the reports coming from the Telegram channels, on opposing media, witnesses, how men are mobilized. Men will be making statements themselves. I believe that we're up for that. And another thing to watch for is they're going to make it much more difficult to leave Russia. Again, they have all the tools in place. I've made streams in the past, and closer to 1st of April, I will make another stream about what they can do now to not let you leave Russia, okay? There haven't been many reports that Border Patrol officers abuse their power to keep Russians inside Russia. But again, I think it was the process of sugarcoating. So April 1st is when I am watching for the start of the new wave. But that's going to be covert, but we will uncovert it. Boris, this will be a difficult topic, but I need your opinion. What do you think of the Russian groups that get armed by Ukraine and attack Belgorod and Kursk right now? Thank you again. I am not sure what kind of answer you're looking for. What do I think of the Russian groups that get armed by Ukraine and attack Belgorod and Kursk right now? Well, I believe that they are Russians who have love for their country. I believe that they're Russians who have like us here in Tashkent, left the country to make a difference. And I think that they believe that they're doing the right thing. I have very limited information about what's happening right now, like what kind of attacks are happening on Belgorod and Kursk. I promise you that I will be looking. I'll keep my eyes open. So far, I've been gathering different news about what's going to happen. That pretty much took all my attention in the elections. I made 4 streams in the last 2 days. But this is something that I'm going to cover, and I'm going to, form an opinion on that. I think they're patriots. Mac, will the smaller and medium-sized farms be taken over by the government again and converted into large farms, kolkhozy, or allocated to the large farms of super rich? Mac, this is it's an interesting and difficult question. At this point, it's really not clear how it's going to go. This is the way how I see it. Okay, each province is like a small country. For example, I don't know. In Switzerland, each province is like a canton, okay, or like a state in the United States of America. And basically, it has governor, it has special forces, military forces, some army stationed, KGB. They're bound to that province. They have no authority in other provinces. So basically, Russia is divided into many small areas, countries, okay? let's say Rostov province. There is a group of people who run the province. Their governor, his vice governors, and the heads of police, the heads of Siloviki, the KGB, the attorney general, the judges, and so forth. And each one of them controls something, okay? And I think they make agreement between themselves. Otherwise, they fight. They fight for influence. And they will identify assets that are profitable, lucrative. And they'll just go after these assets, okay? And then the government will come second. They will use government as excuse to seize control over something lucrative. They're not going to bother with small farms, because on small farms you actually need to work with your own hands. I mean, prosecutor general of a province not going to do that. His family is not going to do that. Their business is different. It's to seize assets, okay, sell them, resell them, whatever. Medium-sized farms where employees are, yes, I think those will be taken, but not the government, but those who are eager to steal things, if you know what I mean. The part of the government who are empowered. That's what I think it's going to do. And of course, there are super rich. They own huge farming corporations, and those will go after large farms. But to be honest with you, there aren't many large farms left in Russia. They've been all seized and took over, bought out by the super rich, by large farming corporations. So I doubt there are many large farms, independent farms left in Russia. Jelai Fritz, thank you so much. I think one thing Russia will run out will be seeds. There are rumors it has run out of seeds already, but I don't know whether it's true or not. It's just rumors. Russia mostly brought F1 seeds from the West, from the Netherlands. That was country number one supplying Russia with seeds, who will not be produced the same variants of plant over the years, unlike heirloom seeds do. Now, I have talked specifically on this question with one of the farmers I know, and I asked him what's the situation with seeds. He said they had enough, but they keep part of the harvest every year to use it for seeds, to plant seeds. The question is, what is the percentage of those seeds will actually become harvest the following fall, okay? And I also have heard the rumors that large corporations that I just talked about, they are in trouble because the Netherlands, the companies in the Dutch companies don't want to sell them the seeds anymore. So, but we will see. The seeding process will start. It's called Pasivnaya. It'll start very soon in Russia. And it'll be over in about 8 weeks. We will know by the end of Pasivnaya how Russia is doing in terms of agriculture this year. Carson Larrymore, I'm seen on another channel that shows a very large spike in the pensions, disability insurance recipients. How about future outlook for pensioners, disability, etc.? I believe that there has been, I've seen some data, there's been a very large spike in the pensions, disability pensions, but you have to distinguish those who receive pensions, regular pensioners, and those who receive pensions because they were injured or disabled in the war. Okay, that's a big difference. My mom is a pensioner. She has not seen a significant increase in her pension in like 6-7 years, okay? But there's a new pensioners, disabled ones, okay? I think right now they are given money, they are paid well, to show others that no matter what, even if something happens to you at war, you know, the government will take care of you. But that will end as soon as they will first, stop recruiting, mobilizing new people, and second, stop the war. I think all these people who are receiving disability pensions will be, pardon my language, screwed in the future. Hi D Hi, thank you. How long before China takes advantage of weakness? I think China is taking advantage right now. It has been. China is buying Russian oil at huge discounts, very deep discounts. That's advantage. Chinese banks came in, charged Russians lots of money and left without providing services. They issued union pay cards, and then months later they canceled every single card issued. That's taking advantage. The Chinese car manufacturers are selling their cars in Russia with 300+% markup. That's taking advantage. And things like that, there are so many advantages, you know. So China has been taking advantages, and the process will increase. Jekyll N, thank you so much for sponsoring 5 people. Thank you, friend. Joseph DiGiorgio, thank you. Do most, many, or few Russians actually believe that they have fair elections? Most, many, or few? Many. Those who voted for Putin, they believe that they had fair elections. It's my point of view. I don't know the official statistics. Did I vote for Putin? That's a question I did not expect. Do you think Putin is dying? How do I know? I am not God Almighty, you know. Did I vote for Putin? Do I need to answer that? Oh, this is so funny. Did you vote for Putin? I gotta show it to Natasha. That's funny. Aquatic Borealis, thank you so much. Do you have a Russian audience? Do Russians watch YouTube or look at media content outside of Russia? I've answered this question 10 millions of times. I do not have Russian audience. Well, I think I do, but that audience is very small and very specific. That's the captains and majors who listen and note things, you know, make notes. But other than that, no, I don't. I don't have wide Russian audience. And I don't feel like there's a need to, because there are plenty of good resources, independent media that moved away from Russia and broadcast from abroad. Germany, all over Europe, you know, the Baltic states. There are so many of them, and there are basically former media that were in Russia and they were independent after the start of the war. They moved abroad, and that's what they're doing. They have teams of professional reporters. I mean, why would I compete with these guys? Russians have access to all kinds of media. They have access to YouTube. Tune in to dozens and dozens of channels and get Russia's brightest reporters reporting in Russian for Russians. Okay, I don't need to report to Russians. I'm not a reporter. I'm not professional. I'd be just a tiny speck of dust, you know. Karolis Stanius, thank you so much. Constant, do you think 9 out of every 10 of all people you know in Russia support what's going on? Do all these 9 of 10 people know in Russia they say support the current government? No, not 9 out of 10 support. Do all... The number is smaller. I know very few people who support the war itself. I do know people like that. Well, I knew. And it is very unpleasant for me to speak with people and like that and continue speaking with them. So I canceled them out of my life. I simply don't talk to them, and I doubt I ever will. Not too many friends of mine are like that, but I know a couple former colleagues. I know a few people. They're minority, and very few people support the bloodshed. They, in general, do not like Putin, and they think that he has created a system that robs them of money, but that's as far as they go, okay? They don't do anything to change. They live in their own bubble, informational bubbles that they created for themselves. And I've been encountering more and more this situation when I start asking questions. Do you know what happened on oil refinery plants? And no, I don't know. And I don't want to know. I don't watch the news. I've consciously made a decision to stop watching the news because it's too painful. I don't like to know what's going on around me. All I know is my life. I go to work, have a job. I do this and that. I spend time with family, children. That's all I need. That's all I want to do. And when I start telling people, I try to tell, they just cut me off. Oh, just don't tell us. And I understand why. Because if they are asked questions, or even worse, they start asking themselves questions, then the answers are rhetoric. We all know the answers. And it'll start hurting a lot. So, most of people that I know have started living in bubbles. Majority of Russians do support Putin. This is a phenomena that I've encountered in the last few days. A lot of people voted for Putin, and they're saying Putin is good, everyone else is bad. The government is bad. They misinform Putin. They take his orders and don't follow them. They mess up. They make mistakes. They do sabotage. So Putin is good, and his servants are bad, basically. Very strange opinion, but that's what I have encountered. Crusader Damien, thank you so much. I'm very late today. Should the West consider labeling Putin as illegitimate leader? It would bring serious ramification for Russia internationally. I don't know. I have thought of it. I don't have the answer. I am fearing, I don't know if my fears are based on something real, but I'm fearing that if the West would escalate abruptly and much, then he would do something very stupid. Okay, and this is my fear. If the West considers him a legitimate leader, I don't know. What if the West simply isolates him? No one speaks to him. Russia, foreign diplomats were called to Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Lavrov wanted to have a talk with them, and they simply refused to go at the last minute. That's a practice to consider, Christian Seberg, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank you. Germany just declared him illegitimate. Well, I guess there's so much for me answering. I salute Germany for courage. We'll see what happens. Germany is number one again. So what a country. KG1, thank you. Are Russians finding ways to escape the country and still turn up in your group? Yes. Bit by bit. There was a huge amount of Russians who left at the end of last year. And it was a spontaneous decision for many, just like for myself. It was like a kick in the butt. Someone kicked you out of the country, hitting you in the butt. But now, people who come now, they have been planning their leave in Russia. They're selling everything, they're cutting ties. I can't say they're burning bridges, but they prepare a place where they go to. They think of a strategy, how they're going to make money and so forth. So you see, when I came to Uzbekistan and thousands around me, we didn't think, what are we going to do there? One thought, I got to make it out of Russia. That's it. Okay? And all of us, we thought the same thing. And once we made it out of Russia, we started thinking, oh, what are we going to do next? I personally was thinking that my life was over for a few days because that's it. You just cut everything behind you. You erased your past. You erased like everything you had, you lost. Thank goodness I didn't lose my family, but some people did, and it's a crazy situation. So now people keep on coming, not in big quantities, but steadily, and their situations are different. They keep their jobs, they get new jobs here, job offers, they come and start making living right away and things like that. Well, I think you understand what I'm talking about. Oh, boy. Lorna, thank you so much. We discussed that topic so many times already. Agile Sandness. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I misspelled your name. Agile Sandness. Hi, Konstantin. If you could give a piece of advice to European governments, the EU or the US, to help the situation in Ukraine and Russia, what would it be? Well, first of all, thanks for the support. And with that question, you put me on the spot. Give me a few moments here. I would give 3 pieces of advice to the governments. First is, do not block money flow out of Russia. Second, do not turn away the good Russians. And the third, do not wait for so long helping Ukraine. Think faster and make decisions faster. I think that's the best I can do. Coming up with suggestions, pieces of advice in such a short time, Give me a notice next time. I'll think about it. By the way, following up your question, I thought that, oh boy, it's 1:26. We gotta go soon. Gotta wrap it up. Lorna, Mommy, the mods, I just saw what time it is. Now, at first I thought, boy, the West made a mistake. They allowed Russia to use oil to sell it in large quantities in 2022. They didn't shut it down abruptly and quickly. Now, I tend to think that the Western governments who were applying sanctions, they did the right thing, because if they shut down Russian oil back then abruptly and quickly, they would absolutely ruin global oil markets. What they did, they put sanctions upon Russia slowly. Therefore, they allowed for countries to adjust, to find new ways of getting oil and gas, natural gas from other sources, okay? And so the sanctions started working, but slowly. Yes, it gave Russia a certain advantage, and it strengthened its economy for some time, okay? But at the same time, it saved the world from oil collapse, okay? So that's kind of just something from the top of my head. And friends, let me just let me just make sure that I mentioned I saw all the super chats and all the support. Again, Agile Sandness, thank you so much. Thank you a million. Christian Seberg, thank you, from Romania. KG1, Crusader Damien, Carlos Stenius, Aquatic Borealis, Carlson Larrymore, July Fritz, Hi D Hi, Jekyll N, thank you for sponsoring 5 people. Thank you, Jekyll. Mac, Boris, William the Atheist, number 1, Joseph DiGiorgio, Jeff Shirk, Be More with God, Anita, Hybichuk, Boris, Get You FBR, Sir Senaye, Mac, thank you so very much. And I invite everyone to finish this live stream by praying. If you are religious, if you're not, please join us and call what we're going to do, sending good wishes to people, sending good vibes, sending good energy, talking to universe. In my eyes, it's the same thing. So please join us. Thank you. Dear God, sorry, it's been a long day. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so very much for giving us this day. Thank you for putting food on our tables. Thank you for putting roofs over our heads and surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads safe and peaceful, and raise them in a way when they become adults. They won't fight each other, they'll never be involved in any wars, and they will be loving each other, and they'll make this world a better place. For now, please keep our children healthy and safe, because they are our world. Please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Reach out and touch people who are responsible and capable of making that decision. Fill their hearts with love, mercy, empathy, forgiveness. Make the hearts warmer so they make this decision to stop the bloodshed. Please help all the Ukrainians who have been affected by this terrible war. Answer their prayers and make their wishes come true. Dear Lord, please help my country, Russia, to assemble the army of your strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael in shining armors, send that army like heavenly avalanche to this earth to get rid of the demons that have hijacked my country. And we know the demons by their names and by their faces. Have angels come down and help good Russians to run the country and make it peaceful, loving, and respecting. Please help all those who are traveling, send them safe travels. Those who are asking for asylum of any kind, those who are in trouble, in dire straits, please bless those who are helping Ukrainians, opening their hearts, wallets, minds. Please help those Ukrainians who are in danger of Russian attacks right now. Send them safety. Have angels care for them. Please help single mothers who are struggling, raising their children, struggling to make ends meet. Please help all the sick, the hungry, the addicted, the depressed, the jobless, the homeless, the betrayed, the crying, the ones who losing their faith, the ones who are not feeling well about themselves, and the ones who have lost or losing hope. Please send them love and surround them in the warmth of your love. Stand right next to them and make them feel your presence. Make them feel your love. Make them feel that you are with them, loving them, so they don't feel alone. They don't feel desperate anymore, but instead, feeling your love, they become feeling empowered. They become feeling happier. Please help every single person in need. Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing us to come here in this real community and pray together. Thank you for everyone who is praying, for believers, non-believers, people who simply passing by, who come back every day. Thank you. Thank you for those who are just simply watching us pray. Thank you for that. Please answer everyone's prayer and make everyone's wish come true. Dear Lord, I would like to ask you for a few people who need your help. They are Jeffrey S., needs help with surgery that is coming up soon. Ann Larson with back pain. Mammy K and her family, her mother. Please send recovery and strength. Jeffrey S., daughter Gemma. Mary Doran, Warren Spees, Jay Spike. Tracy, Gabing with Gary. Jim in Houston, Frank in Texas, Paula W., Karen's mom Dorothy. Tim Mayers, please help with lung cancer. Larry B., Colleen's dad, Dominic. Redman Half-Breed. Lisa Kumrian, please help with recovery. Olga, her son Alexei. Jason Carney, please send complete recovery soon. Sandra Dunn, Susie Mailer. Surround her with your love and send strength, please. Kyle E.'s wife. Ann Larson's daughter Hannah. Dory, Terry Carter's family. Electron's family, John, Kurt from Colorado, Deborah, Boogie Burger and 2 sons, Buzz Salmon, Dave, Don, Wayne, Randolph, Grace Philosophy, Julia Haney, Yorkie Mom, Darla, Liz Dumbrell, White Lightning, George Ruberty, Wayne, the Highwayman, David Porter, his family, and everyone from Chernovtsi, Ukraine. Stefan from Sweden, live. Pamela J. Terry Carter, John Lee McMahon, Alvin, Meta Spencer, Mr. Dean Spooner and his church, Liz, Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Svetlana. Please help little girl Sarah. She needs recovery. Her family needs strength. And help all the children in Russia and in Ukraine who have been affected by this terrible tragedy. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you, friends. Fantastic to have you here. My honor. Thank you for giving me a chance to deliver another message. The best time of my day, every day, is being with you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Evelyn, thanks for your support. And Karalis Stenius, thank you for gifting 10 people sponsorships. Thank you. I want you to remember that you are officially, every one of you is awesome and you rock. Please come back for another message tomorrow. And before I sign off, as usual, I'd like to ask you to join me to say out loud as you can, Carthago delenda est.